As Russia escalates its air war, a breakthrough deal between the US and NATO sends Patriot systems racing to Ukraine, even more than Kyiv requested. At the same time, on the ground in Donetsk region, Ukrainian police risk everything to evacuate civilians from Pokrovsk under relentless drone attacks. This is UATV English. Let's break it on down and put you in focus on these events. A bold shift in Western strategy and a message Moscow can't ignore. 17 Patriot systems are now on the way to Ukraine, part of a sweeping deal unveiled by President Trump and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. It's the largest Patriot delivery yet. And the plan? Allies send their existing systems to Kyiv and get brand new replacements from the US. It's a high-stakes exchange, as Russia ramps up drone attacks and Ukraine's skies grow more vulnerable by the hour. This could be the turning point in Ukraine's air defense. Watch in our report.
NATO and the United States have reached an agreement on delivering billions of dollars worth of weapons to Ukraine. This was announced by U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House during a meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Trump confirmed that new equipment would be produced for NATO and made available for further transfer to Ukraine. The key breakthrough was the U.S. decision to authorize the delivery of Patriot air defense systems to Kyiv. Trump stated that NATO member states, which already possess these systems, will be able to hand them over to Ukraine, and in return, they will receive newly manufactured replacements from the U.S. The president announced preparations for the delivery of 17 Patriot systems to Ukraine, with the first expected to arrive very soon.
We're going to have some come very soon, within days. A couple of the countries that have Patriots are going to swap over and will replace the Patriots with the ones they have. Donald Trump, President of the United States.
The details of the agreement between the U.S. and NATO were outlined by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Under the deal, Ukraine may receive a significant number of air defense systems, missiles, and ammunition. According to him, this is one of the key successes of the NATO summit, where alliance members also agreed to increase defense industry output, raise defense spending to 5%, and expand support for Ukraine. He emphasized that this is only the first wave. More is to come.
So what we will do is work through the NATO systems to make sure that we know what Ukrainians need, so that we can make packages. Of course, in a way, we discussed it this morning with Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon, in a way that, of course, the US will put on its stockpiles necessary to defend this country. That's absolutely clear. But it will mean that Ukraine can get its hands on really massive numbers of military equipment, both for air defense, but also missiles, ammunition, etc., etc.
The scale of Patriot deliveries exceeds the request previously voiced by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Ukraine had asked for 10 additional Patriot systems and missiles for them. With each passing day, the need to protect Ukrainian airspace is becoming more urgent. Russia continues to use large numbers of attack drones against Ukraine. Some experts estimate that the aggressor state may soon be capable of launching up to 1,000 UVs per day. Analysts agree that strengthening Ukraine's airspace with help from partners sends a strong signal to Putin, one that the White House should have delivered immediately after Donald Trump's inauguration.
Сигнал Путину должен состоять из двух частей.
The signal to Putin should have two components. First, strengthening military support for Ukraine. Second, tightening sanctions against Russia. Putin doesn't understand any other signals and never will.
Earlier, the United Kingdom and Ukraine signed a historic multi-million-pound agreement on air defense missile deliveries. The ammunition will be supplied by Thales, based in Belfast. The UK is expected to deliver about 5,000 air defense missiles to Ukraine. London has also confirmed bilateral support for Ukraine in the 2025 to 2026 financial year, amounting to up to £283 million. This funding will ensure Ukrainians receive essential support in many vital areas. Reported by Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.
A single road under constant threat. Drones overhead, landmines below. This is the only way out of Pokrovsk, a city battered by Russian shelling. And yet, every day, Ukrainian police drive into danger to save lives. Grandmothers fleeing on foot, a priest who survived a landmine blast, a van dodging drone strikes by seconds. This is not just an evacuation, this is a rescue mission under fire. Now, meet the people who escaped death, and those risking everything to help them to do it.
This is the Dobropilya-Pokrovsk highway. Russian drones fly over it constantly, indiscriminately attacking any moving vehicle. Yet this is the only road the White Angel police unit can use to evacuate civilians from Russian shelling-hit Pokrovsk.
There are the grandmas. We might lose our tires here. More people. Run, run, run. Ladies, how are you?
Hello, my sunshine.
Get in.
On the way, the police pick up anyone who wants to evacuate, and once the van is full, they head back toward Dobropilya. On the return trip, the vehicle is targeted by a Russian FPV drone, but the group manages to speed through the danger zone just in time.
The priest was praying the entire way. Thanks to him, the drone exploded right in front of us.
Father Alexander is from Dobropilya. He had come to Pokrovsk to deliver fuel for generators and medical supplies. But on his last trip, his vehicle hit a Russian landmine, and he was forced to stay in Pokrovsk for several days until he could be evacuated.
I didn't drive over it. It triggered from a magnetic field. Can you imagine that? It was lying on the ground, and I passed within 1.5 meters. Then it went off and blew out everything in the back. How did I survive? And the car afterward. Drones finished it off.
We hear another evacuation story directly from those involved. Nina Ivanivna and Katerina Vasilyevna are elderly women from the village of Zverevo, 7 kilometers from Pokrovsk and just a few hundred meters from the front line. They were the last locals to leave the village, walking all the way to Pokrovsk.
That's the hottest spot. No one's left. The houses are burnt out, many of them destroyed. We were the only 2 left. Everyone else had gone.
The last 2 nights in their home village, the elderly women were forced to sleep outside.
We had nothing. We didn't eat.
Someone said you suffered a concussion or were wounded.
I've had a concussion 3 times. We've cheated death 10 times. It came right up to our faces.
Others rescued also show signs of trauma from what they've been through. Volunteers from the Netherlands, who will continue the evacuation and transport the civilians to Dnipro, try to offer comfort.
I heard there was a drone that fell right in front of them. I know, it's a shock. I've seen this before. That man is in shock.
After a short rest, the evacuees are ready to move on. Rooms have already been prepared for them at a shelter in Dnipro.
We'll take them to Dnipro, to Holland House. That's our shelter, and we think they'll feel better there.
Will you make sure of that?
Of course. That's why we're here.
Authorities in Donetsk region continue to urge people to evacuate to safer areas. Nearly 1,500 people remain in Pokrovsk, and just over 3,000 across the entire Pokrovsk district. Reported by Alyona Gramova. Yevhen Karmazin from Donetsk region, UATV News.
As Ukraine fights for its skies and saves lives on the ground, these stories remind us what's truly at stake and who's stepping up. Drop your thoughts and predictions on these developments below, and always stay in focus with UATV English.